This is the way it makes sense. It's about living life for pleasure, living life for beauty. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. You may know me as Celestina Blooms, but if you want, you can call me Celeste. Yes, there was a video where I introduced myself as Tina Knight. This will hopefully be the last time I refer back to that, because it will just be confusing to keep listing all the different names that I've gone by. And that's not even all of them. But anyway, Celestina Blooms, or Celeste. Hi, welcome to my channel. I haven't posted in a while, I know. It's been a minute. It's been like about a year. I've been good. I've been just like exploring lots of different aspects of all the things I'm interested in, and I've been like dancing and making awesome content and doing all kinds of fun things. If you don't know what my channel is about, I've posted videos on the kink and lifestyle aspects of Bimbofication, and obviously if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should check out those videos. And I've done videos going over things about myself, about my background, and I've done a behind the scenes video at work. If you don't know what work I'm referring to being an adult performer. Just go watch the video. But anyway, today I really wanted to talk about something that has really been on my mind, and it's kind of hard to articulate, but I'm going to try to do my best, and I'm going to give examples, and basically I'm going to give my sources for where I've kind of gotten this inspiration from. All right, let's just jump right into it. Going back to the concept of lifestyle bimbofication, or the modern Gen Z Bimboism that is, popular. It was a trend for a while. It's kind of becoming less popular now. Like, the trend is starting to die down a little bit. It's becoming a little bit less trendy. People are now moving on to other trends, which actually I think is a good thing, because people who are in it for the right reasons, because it's actually a part of their identity, it's not a trend for them. It obviously was talked about a lot, and a lot of people were using it as a framework to talk about these certain ideas they had for how they wanted to live their lives in a very feminine way, in a very sex positive way, etc., etc. But to me, while I was obsessed with this, it felt like it wasn't a complete idea. It was missing something. It was like not a fully formed thought, which is appropriate, being, related to the concept of a bimbo, the whole, bimboism idea being less than a fully formed thought. Makes sense, of course. But I want to talk about these overarching themes, or overarching themes, I don't know how you say it, that have become so fascinating to me, and I'm seeing these same themes, or the themes I'm going to be talking about in this video, are also paralleled in this other lifestyle philosophy that I literally just found out about, because as far as I'm aware, there's only one YouTuber talking about it, because I believe she made it up. It appears that she made it up. And so I'm definitely going to plug her. She is Celine, and her channel is Heaven Sent Honey. Please, 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 please go watch her channel. I will link to one of her videos. I don't know which video I'll pick, or if I'm able to just link a channel, I'll probably link her channel in the description. I'll figure out a way to link her, but Heaven Sent Honey. I have never found somebody whose mind works so similarly to mine as her. Like, I'm obsessed with her. Like, I have never come across somebody with a more beautiful mind. Please go watch her channel. A lot of what I'm going to be talking about today has to do with the concepts that she has so beautifully articulated. So, like, please don't think that I'm trying to take credit for this. This is all her. I'm just talking about similarities that I'm seeing between that and Bimboism, or I suppose how we can use her ideas of sensualism. That is the name of her lifestyle philosophy, sensualism. How we can maybe use that as the new Bimboism, because I think it's kind of taking the same kind of thought processes, but turning it into a more fleshed out idea, and one that maybe is more like accessible than Bimbofication, and more customizable, I suppose we could say. Of course, I forgot to mention when talking about Bimbofication, I don't want to leave out the fact that most of Bimbofication originates from a kink or a fetish, aside from just, it being used as a general archetype. Before it was a trend, it was a fetish. And I can do another video kind of going more in depth on the fetish. I've done a couple videos touching on it and comparing it, like explaining the differences between the fetish and the lifestyle. You can go watch those videos, but just wanted to specify that the lifestyle and the fetish are two things that exist, but they are not the same thing. Today I'm focusing more on the lifestyle and lifestyle philosophies, but I'm also moving kind of away from that idea and talking more about sensualism in this video. So these overarching themes are the themes that I'm seeing paralleled between Bimboism and Heaven Sent Honey's sensualism. I do not think this was done on purpose. I think that this is either something that is in like our collective consciousness, or maybe it's just something that I'm seeing in my consciousness, and that's just kind of showing how my interests have moved from one to the other. But let's get right into it. So first we have escapism. Bimboism is very, very much about escapism. It's about not caring about the troubles of the world, and literally making an attempt to like shut your brain off to escape the realities of the world. And sensualism, while it's not about shutting off your brain, sensualism actually puts a lot of emphasis on like intellectual ideas and whatnot, but it is very, very much wrapped up in escapism. It's about like trying to romanticize your life trying to live your life in a way that is more beautiful than reality, and so you see life differently. So it's not about just being ignorant of the world around you, although you don't need to like fill your head with like the news and stuff, you know, constantly. Heaven Sent Honey also, I believe, said, yeah, something about this, that you don't need to like watch the news all the time, but not from a place of being dumb. Although Bimbofication or Bimboism also, they say contradicting things. Sometimes they're like, it's about being dumb. Other times they're like, it's just not about trying to look smart, which I agree with. But my point, you don't need to like obsess over the bad things in life unless you see it as a form of beauty. That is one of the things I love about sensualism, that it's romanticizing the beauty in the bad things as well. Whereas Bimboism doesn't kind of have room for this. That's the first thing, escapism. And on to the next one, aestheticism. Now, aestheticism, according to Heaven Sent Honey, is or was a movement of lifestyle philosophy that existed like over 100 years ago, like well over 100 years ago, I think. Don't quote me on the exact specifics of it, but it was about living life according to aesthetics, putting almost a moral emphasis on living aesthetically. Of course, there's questionable ethics in aestheticism, but there are ways to do it ethically, of course. It was about the importance of beauty and aesthetics. Basically, where the way things look or the way they sound, just the aesthetics of things around you, of your life, were held like with extreme importance. And people think of this as something that is for the elite, the super rich people. And of course, historically, only the super rich people had the luxury to, you know, put that much thought into aesthetics. But in today's society, it's really no longer the rich. Like, the average people can, you know, put the same kind of like level of thought into beauty and making their life beautiful aesthetically. And obviously, I'm sure you can see how this goes, like how this parallels Bimboism or Bimbofication, because the bimbo just cares about being cute and pretty and having, you know, a pretty bedroom and a super cute, pretty car and just being a hot girl or whatever, you know? It's like that, but, you know, making it smart, kind of. Similar concept, basically. This isn't going to resonate with everybody, but for the people it does resonate with, it's like amazing to realize that there is a way you can live your life centered around beauty. I'm just kind of quoting Heaven Sent Honey at this point. Like, aestheticism is a like central part of her sensualism that she came up with. And okay, this one, this next point is kind of what gave me the inspiration to do this video in the first place. This was what really made me realize the parallels between these two. In Gen Z Bimboism, the Gen Z Bimbo, according to TikTok, according to Chrissy Klepeka, I think her name is, I'm so sorry. As a joke, or not as a joke, bimbos are repeatedly referred to as being anti-capitalist. And this seemed kind of like random. It seemed like it was a random thing kind of just thrown in there to be like confusing, to help go viral, to show that the bimbo wasn't, conservative, basically, saying that their version of the bimbo was leftist and very, very liberal, very going against the grain. They were trying to say that this idea that used to be an idea of conforming is now an idea of rebellion. But by saying randomly a bimbo is anti-capitalist, without explaining it, it didn't seem to make a lot of sense. They did this a lot with points. That was just one of the points that they gave. But I latched onto this idea just recently. I realized this parallel between the anti-capitalist Gen Z bimbo and the sensualist, because the sensualist is anti-capitalist in the sense that the sensualist is anti-efficiency. And I think this creates a very beautiful way of looking at the bimbo. It completely kind of changes the meaning. The bimbo and the sensualist, these two ideas, both have this in common. They are anti-efficiency. That is the way that they are anti-capitalist. This is the way it makes sense, because it's about living life for pleasure, living life for beauty. The pleasure thing I'll get back to in a moment. But when you put that much emphasis on making your life into art, on making your life into just something beautiful, something that you personally appreciate as just a beautiful performance art piece for yourself, and if other people appreciate it too, then awesome. The capitalist world we live in, I don't want to say patriarchal in this context, but a very masculine energy society. Masculine in the sense of structure, masculine in a yin-yang sense. That is the society that we live in. It's very time-based, very structured, very efficient. If you're not living your life efficiently, if you're not living your life with the focus on contributing in the sense of being a functional piece in a big working machine, basically, that kind of efficiency, that kind of way of looking at capitalism, basically, because obviously there's no way that as a person, living in society, no way to avoid capitalism. You have to exchange goods and currency to survive. Even if you find a way to live out in the middle of nowhere, you're still at some point going to come back to capitalism in the sense of buying and selling and contributing in some way, obviously. But the goal of sensualism, in reference to this, is to live slowly, to live for yourself, to live in kind of a Bohemian way, but not necessarily in the way the hippies do, although you can take it in that direction. But just for making your life an art piece for yourself, to take the time to enjoy your life, essentially. Because the bimbo doesn't care if she's like late to stuff because she needed to do her makeup because it makes her feel good, or you know, whatever. That's just one example. She's anti-efficiency. So on to the next one. I say she, could be he or she, but anyway. Another parallel is, I don't know if this is actually a word, I wrote it down as a word, egoism. Basically, both the bimbo and the sensualist live life for themselves. They hold themselves in like a high regard, not exactly in a narcissistic way, but just in the sense of prioritizing their own happiness. To me, this part of it almost goes into like spiritual territory, although all of this does, like all of this can be taken to a spiritual level. It's like respecting the self. And this goes into aestheticism, like all of these different elements are intertwined. Respecting yourself so much that you need to adorn yourself. You need to take the time getting up in the morning to savor the small beauty around you, the time to take care of yourself, just respecting yourself almost as if you are a god. There are beliefs that can go along with this, like if you believe that we are all part of the universe, that means that we are the universe, and if you believe that the universe is God, that means that you are God. So you should treat yourself as such. You should worship yourself. If you worship beauty, then you worship yourself through the lens of beauty. And that sounds so much like something a bimbo would do. And now, hedonism. Hedonism, obviously, such a bimbo thing, and hedonism is also a big part of sensualism. Again, please go watch Heaven Sent Honey's videos. Hedonism, but also to a point, because it also goes along with self-discipline. Because like a bimbo, yeah, she's going to enjoy her, you know, sugary coffee or whatever, you know, like she's gonna suck on that lollipop or whatever, but she's also going to work out. For example, you know, like just an example, she may or may not work out. You know, that might not be her idea of what is beautiful, but whatever her idea is, whatever kind of beauty she holds in high regard, she's going to work for. She might obviously, you know, go, you know, on like a shopping spree for, you know, for pleasure, because that makes her feel good. But if she's just buying things for the sake of buying things, did she buy things that she actually likes? Because if she didn't, then she's not upholding her aesthetic values. So there's restraint in this. So she might see something that she wants, but for example, she might, you know, need to save for it because maybe she's not rich. Like for another example of hedonism, but with restraint. This is what I do. I do intermittent fasting. Obviously, if you have like an eating disorder or something, this probably is not for you, but I love food. I used to be vegetarian and vegan, and I had never grown up with meat and etc. I may or may not do a video discussing that transition from vegan to not vegan, but at this point in my life, I love food. like of all kinds. I love meat, I love rich foods, I love sugary foods, I love healthy foods, I love food. But at least this is what I try to do. I eat once a day so that I can fully enjoy it when I do. Hedonism, but with self-discipline. Because you can get all the calories that you need within that one meal if you do it right. You can also go overboard within that one meal. Again, just, depends on how you do it. And that first bite, after like a long day of work or whenever you eat, that first bite is absolutely heaven. This is what I'm talking about. That is like frugal hedonism. There's like a book on frugal hedonism. I haven't read it, but it's kind of this idea. Hedonism, but being frugal about it so that you can still appreciate it, because that's part of the problem with our current society is, in my opinion personally, that we have an overabundance of pleasure and all of these things. And I do not think that pleasure is bad, obviously, because this is such an integral part of this philosophy that I'm talking about. But to fully appreciate these things, you have to deny yourself too. It's all about enjoying life, basically. So those are the points, the overarching themes. And ways that this can manifest are, like prioritizing beauty and art over efficiency. Within reason, because like anything that is kind of taken to like almost a religious standpoint, needs to be taken with a grain of salt. You need to balance it with actual life. So all of these things, you need to keep that in mind, that this can be something that you are aiming for, but you need to balance it with life. That balance is going to look different for everybody. So like prioritizing beauty and art and your version of that over efficiency. And another way this can be expressed is in virginity, but not virginity like don't have sex. The original definition of virginity meaning one in yourself, like not needing others, like a lizard that procreates without having sex, just as an example. That was the original definition of virginity, was one in yourself. Heaven Sent Honey taught me this again. Love her. You create a world for yourself, a world for you to enjoy. You surround yourself with your own reality that is for you. It goes back to escapism, and it goes back to like prioritizing yourself, I've been reading off of like notes. What did I write here? Virginity in the sense of being whole within oneself without the need for the external world. The world and others should be treated as merely a curiosity or an amusement when it is acknowledged. Treating the world as a canvas, audience, or stage. I wrote that kind of inspired by Heaven Sent Honey. Like all of this is inspired by her. I don't know, she's like my life guru now, so a lot of my future videos are probably going to start looking more and more like hers, so just giving you a heads up about that. Treating life like play, like a play, like you're a character in a play, but also just like you're playing, but again, like the grown-up version, the version that takes like discipline, where you like just want to sit down for like 24 hours and create this work of art that has been just festering in your brain and you just need to get it out, you know? Like that kind of play. Other ways this can be expressed, you know, respecting the self and the body by creating rituals, you know, like beauty rituals, you know, rituals to take care of yourself, rituals for respecting yourself. This can look like self-care, you know, this can look like beauty routines, but not routines. Make the routines rituals, basically, because that's how much you care. Also, a preference for beauty in its unnatural forms, an improvement on nature as a principle. This is, I think, one of the other biggest parallels between Bimboism and sensualism. That sensualism, at least Heaven Sent Honey's explanation of it, or maybe I've just taken this from her, maybe that she didn't specify that this had to do with sensualism, but this is just a philosophy that she has. But again, I saw a parallel. A preference for beauty in its unnatural forms, an improvement on nature as a principle. This can mean plastic surgery, but it does not have to at all, because you can appreciate, you know, the unusualness of something that does come naturally. Kind of like, you know, appreciating the beauty in bad things as well, like romanticizing. It goes back to romanticizing. But like part of this curation of a world for yourself, creating beauty around you, creating like turning yourself into this like godlike idea, like escapism. It's all about like beauty, and beauty is all about looking at nature, you know, like art is looking at things in life in nature and making them beautiful, or creating something where beauty didn't exist. I'm so sorry that I've been speaking so poorly in this video. I'm trying to get better at public speaking. But this goes back to something else that she said about like beauty and aesthetics being the closest thing we have to the divine. This is part of why I'm so obsessed with it. Because we're looking at nature as like, yeah, like the human aspect, the raw, like animalistic aspects of life, and also the bad aspects of life. I'm not saying that, you know, the natural is bad, but basically it's like looking at the physical world and creating something that didn't exist in the physical world, and trying to create something better than the physical world. Like taking something from up here that existed only in the mind, that we hope maybe exists on a higher plane, and bringing it into the physical world. That's what I mean, and what I think I understand that Heaven Sent Honey was saying about like an improvement on nature as a principle, like caring about beauty to this degree. Why caring about beauty to this degree? Okay, my phone died, or didn't die, I ran out of space. So I'm gonna take that as a sign to end this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm trying to just make videos, you know, like just to make them, because I'd gotten into a perfectionist idea and like thinking, oh, my videos had to be perfect and I had to look perfect and I had to have the idea super fleshed out. But like, I gotta get out of that, because otherwise I'm never gonna create anything. So yeah, that's this video. So sensualism versus Bimboism. What do you think? Leave a comment. Do you think we need to create like a new name? Do you think we should just embrace sensualism instead of Bimboism? Do you think sensualism is the new Bimboism? Do you think that they are both two separate things that should be appreciated you know, in and of themselves. Like, go watch Heaven Sent Honey's videos, subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.